Hey, welcome to Inside the Hero's Journey. This is episode 14, Crossing the Return Threshold. So we're going to be talking about what the hero is going to experience going back into the ordinary world from the special world, what the difference between that boundary is at this point in the story, and what it all symbolizes and represents. Okay, let's get into it. The hero adventures out of the land we know into darkness. There he accomplishes his adventure, or again is simply lost to us, imprisoned or in danger. And his return is described as coming back out of that yonder zone. Nevertheless, and here is a great key to the understanding of myth and symbol, the two kingdoms are actually one. The ordinary world and the special world are seen as two separate places. That when the hero returns from the ordinary world, they're seen as coming back from the special world. But the key to myths and stories is that they're not two separate places at all, but they're all just one place. Now, the special world is usually just a forgotten or discarded area of life, and that can be intentional or unintentional. And the whole point of the hero's journey is for a hero to take their beliefs and their ideas and make them completely disappear and turn them into something new. And they do that by merging their thinking and their ideas with what previously was considered to be the other. Now, for someone not prepared for the journey, they're going to feel like they're losing themselves. But for a hero, they go out there and they realize that any fears they had were unfounded, and that any monsters out there were really protectors. Now, from the perspective of the ordinary world, there's going to be an incongruence between the lesson the hero brings back and the way that they did things before the hero left. So it's important for the hero to seize any opportunity for change that they can. Because if the lesson isn't in line with the moral standards of the ordinary world, they're going to devalue the lesson and rationalize it away. And so, if they do that, they're going to need another hero to go back out there and bring the lesson back again in order to solve the problem. How can a hero teach a lesson when other people are likely to have gone on adventures before them and come back to then teach the wrong thing? It's the hardest thing a hero has to do. How do you tell people that something they see as a pair of opposites are really the same thing? The first problem that the hero is going to encounter is that there are going to be things that are deemed important by the ordinary world that they might not think is important anymore, but the ordinary world will. So should they go back to that way of thinking? No, probably not. I mean, why should the hero bother trying to convince people who are already locked into their ideas and beliefs about life, especially when the ideas that they're presenting seem so silly to them? Well, the hero still wants to solve the problem. And if the hero successfully brought back that lesson, then it's really unavoidable for the ordinary world to at least give it a try. It's possible for a hero to return empty-handed. If they go out into the special world with the mind of the ordinary world, then they might have their ideas and beliefs change without them knowing about it. And so when they come back to the ordinary world, it's very easy for those new and better ideas to be reverted back to what they were before. So a common motif in stories is that time is different in the ordinary world and the special world. So like 1 year in the ordinary world is 100 years in the special world, or vice versa. And a real life example would be in Hinduism. 1 year for humans is 360 years for the gods, which is why you have 360 degrees of a circle. The circle represents totality, and each year is 1 year for the gods. Kind of cool, huh? So the ordinary world experiences life and death as just part of its day-to-day. But for the special world, they see this sort of broader pattern of human behavior that doesn't really change. And for a hero, they have to understand that human patterns don't really change over time, but the change is worth making in order to enhance the pleasure of the ordinary world or decrease its suffering, either or. But if a hero ends up being seduced by the pleasures and pains of the ordinary world, then they'll likely revert back to their old way of thinking and ultimately fail. So there are cultures that believe in order to maintain holiness, the holy person shouldn't touch the ground. And that if they do touch the ground, it sucks out the holy part of who they are. Which works as a great metaphor for the hero returning from the special world back to the ordinary world. The point being, the returning hero, to complete his adventure, must survive the impact of the world. In this case, taken literally. So let's explain the hero's journey in terms of love, because it'll illustrate the point maybe a little better. So when a hero falls for someone, they're flattered by the feeling of needing to be with that other person. But there's a danger that if they don't act on it, that, they'll feel pain and anguish. So that sets off a sequence of events that brings them both together, and the inevitable happens. Now, whatever it was that inspired that belief in the ordinary world shows that the solution or the answer from the special world is not a contradiction of the ordinary world. And it's up to the hero to tie both the ordinary and special worlds together. It betokens to a conviction of the waking mind that the reality of the deep is not belied by that of common day. This is the sign of the hero's requirement, now, to knit together his two worlds.